Don't treat him like a side piece. Come in this truth plan and treat you like a side piece. He's the God of mercy and wrath. So do you want to fly or do you keep the Bible on cop? The Most High is my rock.
TK.
Rock. The Most High is my rock. The Most High is my rock. The Most High is my rock. In the name of Messiah, the Most High is my rock. The Most High is my rock. The Most High is my rock. Yeah. The Most High is my rock. I keep my Bible on cop. The Most High is my rock. No time for cupcake and the cutting. Hit the streets and start cutting. The Israelites are bubbling. The Israelites are coming. I don't celebrate Thanksgiving. You can keep the stuffing. It's pagan, disdain, it's vain, it's nothing. The European Union about to hit the button. And I feel sorry for you if you think the Lord is bluffing. That's why I hit the booth and I tell the truth. Are you fishing with the truth? Homie, where's your fruit? If the Most High is your rock, don't treat him like a side piece. Come in this truth plan and treat you like a side piece. He's the God of mercy and wrath. So do you want to fly or do you keep the Bible on cop? The Most High is my rock.
TK.
Rock. The Most High is my rock. The Most High is my rock.
Shalom. Welcome to another class here at ISBHBK. We're located in Houston, Texas. Zip code 8524 South Razor Boulevard, Houston, Texas. Zip code 77071. Our class days are Mondays and Wednesdays from 7 to 9 p.m. Fridays from 6 to 8 p.m. And Saturday, Shabbat, morning classes from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And here in Houston, we do the cable show. Yeah, we do the cable show Salakia on Saturdays at 8 p.m. on Comcast local channel 17, or you can stream it live at hmstv.org, and that's here in Houston. And also, we got a school out in Virginia, Norfolk, Virginia, and the address of the school in Norfolk, Virginia is 2610 Granby Street. Class days are Tuesdays and Thursdays from 7 to 9 p.m. Fridays from 7 to 9 p.m. as well. Saturday is from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And all that is Eastern time. And the address out there again is 2610 Granby Street, Norfolk, Virginia, zip code 23517. We also got a school out in San Antonio, Texas, which is the address is 4219 Senegate Street, San Antonio, Texas, zip code 78217. And you can check them out live at ISBHBK San Antonio. And we also got a school out in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and the address out there is 7710 Manal Boulevard, Suite F, Albuquerque, New Mexico, 87110. And the YouTube channel out there is ISBHBK ABQ. So we ask that you subscribe to the four YouTube channels, which is ISBHBK, ISBHBK Norfolk, ISBHBK San Antonio, ISBHBK Albuquerque. And we got the Feast of Trumpets coming up, and it's going to be on the 27th. Again, we got the Feast of Trumpets coming up, and it's going to be September the 27th, 2019.
Yeah, I just got to correct myself. That's a one-day feast. So that's going to be the 27th. It's a Friday. We're not going to have class. And then after the memorial blowing the trumpets, then we have Day of Atonement, then the Feast of Tabernacles, which is 7 days. So, yeah, I made a mistake. I got my feasts and my times mixed up. So the Friday the 27th is one day. All right, so we won't have class that day.
Got it. And yeah, if you'd like to if you'd like to have your kids check out any of the classes, we got the kids class that we do on Saturdays as well, starting at 2 p.m. And we got plenty of previous kids classes on our YouTube channel, ISBHBK Kids, as well. And we ask that you tune into the Blog Talk Radio, which is every Tuesday and Thursday at 9:30 a.m. So today's Wednesday, tomorrow's Thursday. So tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. you can check out our Blog Talk Radio, and it'll be hosted by Priest Mashaba out there in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and it's blogtalkradio.com/MASHAHBA, which is Mashaba. So definitely check that out. It's a great way to start the morning, a great way to start your day. And Israel Wear is accepting orders. Also, if you would like to place an order for a garment, for a fringe shirt or a fringe pants, anything like that, armbands, headbands, tunics, anything like that, you can check it out. It is everything at Facebook, Everything Israel Wear. Again, it's Facebook at Everything Israel Wear. You can check out the fringe shirts. The flyers will be posted. The flyers posted online for any shirts that you'd like to buy. And the new deadline for the Unity garment is going to be on the 8th, so that's about in a week. And it'll be the new deadline for the garment is on the 8th, and it's going to be for a black and gold fringe pants and headbands. And also, Israel Wear is doing a raffle for a full garment. Again, Israel Wear is doing a raffle for a full garment, which includes a headband, a tunic, a armband, a girdle, and the price is at $3 a ticket. Drawing will be done on the 27th, and the flyer for that will be posted online as well.
And y'all are doing that now, right? Y'all are taking that money now? Put my $3 in real quick. See if I can win. Go ahead.
All right, this will be so
Look at
nice.
the was like, I need that.
I need something nice. God, so right on my left we got Priest Patazap. His number is 303-557-8979. Again, his number is 303-557-8979. We ask that you text only during class. We also got Priest Kazakia's number on here. His number is 281-707-2737. We ask that you text only during class as well. His number is 281-707-2737. And if you have any donations that you'd like to give to help towards the school rent, the bills, any things of that nature, the Wells Fargo account number is posted on the screen. Or if you would like to send in a donation, you can send it to 8524 South Brazel Boulevard, Houston, Texas. If you'd like to send it to this school, if you'd like to send it to any school, you know, we got the addresses. Our address is 8524 South Brazel Boulevard here in Houston, Texas. We got the Norfolk, Virginia address, which is 2610 Granby Street. Got the San Antonio school address, which is 4219 Centergate Street, and the Albuquerque, New Mexico school, which is 7710 Manal Boulevard, Suite F. And with that, that'll be that for the announcements.
Yeah, that's it for the announcement. So, what we're going to do, we're going to continue the class that we started on Saul. Again, we're only doing 2 hours of class, and then we do your questions, and then we take your questions on the Shabbat, or you can get your questions answered on Friday when Kazakia does class also. All right, so Monday and Wednesday, we get our topics. Friday, we do your questions. Saturday, we do your questions. Okay? So we started the treachery of Saul, and we were going through, the point of this class is to show how does a man build up the capabilities to want to murder his brother. And, Saul is the perfect example of a man that tried to murder his brother on many occasions. And, if we just read the story at face value, it's like, Saul was anointed king, David came on the scene, and Saul was just jealous, right? But there's so many other intricate details into why Saul developed this evil mind state towards his brother. So it's important that we go through, we examine, we read, we go into the Josephus, which I forgot mine. But we go into the Josephus, right? And I'm going to have you read the Josephus for me. Yeah, we go into the Josephus, and he's going to read it from that I sent you. and it pulls out more in detail about these stories. Now, and I wish I would have started the class with this scripture, but you know, we brought out that Saul was a man that was appointed king because he was a representation of what the people were like at that time. Right? Now, also, there was something real detrimental about the people and what they wanted in having this carnal king. So we're gonna start at 1 Samuel 8, and then we're gonna jump back to the point where we left off last class. But I definitely wanted to bring out this 1 Samuel 8 just to show what was the mind state of the people, Samuel, and the Most High before we even had a king. So go to 1 Samuel chapter 8 and verse 1.
The book, 1 Samuel, chapter 8, verse 1.
Go ahead.
And it came to pass, when Samuel was old, that he made his sons judges over Israel.
Right.
Now the name of his firstborn was Joel.
Right.
And the name of his second, Abiah.
Right. So, you know, there was a 400-year span between Moses, Joshua, Caleb, and then all these judges. We had about 400 years of just judges. Right? Not actual kings or rulers, but judges. So now we get to this point of Samuel, where he's technically the last judge. But he has two sons, so they're supposed to carry on that lineage, right? So he said he had two sons, Joel and Abiah. They were judges in Beersheba. Go ahead.
They were judges in Beersheba.
Go ahead.
And his sons walked not in his ways.
See, now this was the problem. His sons walked not in the way of Samuel, being that righteous, upright man for the Most High. Because we read last time we did the class last week that every man did what was right in his own eyes. So they didn't walk, Samuel's sons didn't walk in the way of Samuel, the way of righteousness. Go ahead.
But turned aside after lucre.
After what?
After lucre.
Just like Eli's sons, right? They went after the lucre, the filthy lucre. Money, yeah, the dirty money, right? That filthy gain. That teacher or priest for hire. Remember it says they teach for hire and judge for reward. So what were they doing when it said they went after the lucre? Well, what they were doing was when it was time for them to pass righteous judgment as judges, instead of doing what was fair and right and in equity, what they would do was they would judge according to who can pay them off. Just like the judges of today, right? They get paid off, mistrial, paid off. What you got?
Definition of lucre.
Yeah, what you got?
Gain in money or goods.
Right.
Profit.
Right.
Usually in an ill sense.
Right, in an ill sense. Now, if you remember dealing with Moses, the Most High commanded Moses to get judges. He said, get 70 elders from the people that weren't going to pervert judgment. Right? The scriptures say a gift destroyeth the heart. Meaning if I'm a person in judgment or in leadership or in a judgment seat and I got to judge a matter between people, and if somebody brings me a gift, what's going to happen? Usually they're trying to bribe me, right? They're trying to pay me off to get the judgment swayed towards them. It's like the cartels. Yeah, they'll pay off the judge. They'll pay off this person. They'll pay off the cops to continue to do unrighteousness or wickedness. So it said Eli's sons, they were about that lucre, the gifts, right? They wanted the extra offering, or not Eli's, Samuel's sons. But no different from Eli's sons. It was all about that lucre. That's why, you know, one of our staple scriptures, 2 Peter 5 and 8, it says, taking the oversight, not by constraint and not for filthy lucre. What you got?
I have another precept to that.
What you got?
Titus 1 and 7.
Read it.
For a bishop must be blameless.
Must be what?
Blameless. As the steward of the Most High. Not self-willed.
Right.
Not soon angry.
Yeah, not prideful as hell. Not lifted up in pride and anger. Not always angry, because anger rests in the bosom of fools. Go ahead.
Not given to wine.
Not what?
Not given to wine.
So you couldn't be a wino or a drunkard, you know, closet drunk, waking up 12 o'clock in the day, hitting the bottle. You know, you go to his house and he's scraping the beer bottles under the couch. hitting the McCormick from the plastic bottle. Nah, or man, what you sipping on? You got the tea mug? Oh, it's an Irish coffee. Every day, every morning? Nah. So you couldn't be given the wine. Go ahead.
No striker.
Read.
Not given to filthy lucre.
Yeah, you couldn't be in it for the dirty. I like that word, that dirty money. That's Diddy's group, right? Dirty money. Yeah, you couldn't be in it for the dirty money. You couldn't be in it for the money at all. It wasn't about the game. You see that? But Samuel's sons, as well as Eli's sons. Now, the reason why this is important, because if I'm not mistaken, Eli's sons were right before this chapter. Eli's sons and what happened with them, they were all before this. The book of, it was all in chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3. So all they did was just, Samuel's sons just mimicked Eli's sons. Jump back to Samuel.
Come. 1 Samuel chapter 8, verse 3.
Go ahead.
And his sons walked not in his ways,
right,
but turned aside after lucre, and took bribes,
right,
and perverted judgment.
Yeah, it's right there. It tells us they perverted judgment. Go ahead.
Then all the elders of Israel gathered themselves together,
right,
and came to Samuel unto Ramah, and said unto him, Behold, thou art old.
Right, so all the elders came together like, okay, well, you're getting old. Your sons are rebellious. We need a man that's going to step in and right the wrongs. Go ahead.
And thy sons walk not in thy ways.
Right.
Now make us a king to judge us like all the nations.
Now, this was the problem. We wanted to be, give me the one, envy not thou oppressor. We wanted to be like the nations. It wasn't like, oh, give us a king so that we can be righteous. Or else they would have said that, right?
Right.
Oh, give us a king so we can do right. Oh, give us a king so we can get back on track with the Most High. Read it one more time.
Come. Verse 5. And said unto him, Behold,
right,
thou art old, and thy sons walk not in thy ways.
Get Proverbs 3:31, Jermaine. Read on.
Now make us a king to judge us like all the nations.
Yeah, let us be judged like the nations. Let us be under the carnal, because that's what they were asking for. Let us be under carnal authority. Let us be under a man that's going to use and abuse us. Now, this is very detrimental to the story, because Samuel's response to the people was really to look out for them and show them, like, listen, this is what you're asking for. This is the type of king you were going to get. Go ahead, read on.
Verse 6. But the thing displeased Samuel.
Read.
When they said, Give us a king to judge us.
Because Samuel already knew who the judge was. He knew that the Most High in Christ was judging us. He knew that they were our king and that they led us. See, it was about leadership also. The people, remember when Moses went up to Sinai and they were like, we don't know what happened with Moses. Moses, Aaron, make us a god.
God.
The people wanted to be led, but they even forgot that even in the time of Moses, we had a leader, which was Yahweh Shai. Via the Most High, right? Or vice versa. But they lost sight, got carnal. Well, we got to see a man. We got to see a man in front of us. It doesn't work like that. But see, this is what you get when you make flesh your arm, and when you trust in man. Read read Psalms 3:31. Hold where you at.
Oh, is it Proverbs?
Proverbs 3:31.
Proverbs 3:31. Envy thou not the oppressor.
Right, so when you ask him for a king like the other nations, the Bible says do what?
Envy thou not the oppressor.
Yeah, you can't envy your oppressor. Because all these nations were coming up against us to oppress us, and we wanted to be like them. So it says, envy not thou the oppressor. Go ahead.
And choose none of his ways.
Yeah, those ways were designated for those nations. We had a true king. We had the Most High in Christ. But see, carnal, man. Israel, carnal. Always looking for the carnal, seeking for a sign and not knowledge. Go back to Samuel and read.
1 Samuel chapter 8, verse 6, last precept. And Samuel prayed unto the Most High.
Go ahead.
And the Most High said unto Samuel, Hearken unto the voice of the people in all that they say unto thee.
Now, why do you think the Most High said, like, yeah, go ahead and listen to them? Couldn't the Most High,
Want to give them what they want.
Listen, I'm going to let your own wickedness correct you.
Come.
thine own wickedness shall correct you. The Most High is not mocked. The Most High could have sent a plague through, destroyed all them people. Right?
God.
How many times did they murmur against Moses? And the Most High sent fiery serpents, opened up the ground, had brother killing brother, made the manna dissolve in their mouth with worms as they chewed it. He could have sent any plague through the city. But he said, you know what? Give them what they're asking for, Samuel. Let's make it happen. And I'm going to show them what they're asking for. And you got to see, man, when Saul was chosen, what merits, what values, what virtues was Samuel chosen on? Well, he was chosen on the same values, merits that the people were operating on. I'm going to show you how y'all are moving. I'm going to give you a mirror of how y'all are moving around and how y'all respect me. Go ahead, read on.
For they have not rejected thee, but they have rejected me, that I should not reign over them.
This is going to say it right here. Go say it one more time.
For they have not rejected thee, but they have rejected me.
You see, he said, I'm going to show them that you're not rejected. They didn't reject you, Samuel. You're doing your job. But Israel always rejected the Most High. We got thick, we got fat. The Most High blessed us, pulled us out of captivity. Right? It's no different than how the church teaches us. You come into church, you down and out, you ain't got a dime in your name. You start praying, giving yourself to the Most High. All of a sudden, you start getting increase. And then what you forget to do? You forget to go to church on Sundays. You forget to show up. Right? Now, Israel is the same way. Israel is the same way where you don't get you start getting the knowledge, you start getting your life on track, the Most High start blessing you, and then you forget. You forget how you got there. You lightly esteem the rock of your salvation. Deuteronomy 32 and 15 down. You ain't got to go there. But when you read Deuteronomy 32 and 15, it talks about the upright one. Jeshurun waxed fat and kicked. It says, thou art waxen fat and overgrown with thickness. The Most High start blessing you. Blessings on blessings on blessings on blessings. And I don't want to pull it because Kazakia pulled it yesterday in class, but in the day of prosperity, there's a forgetfulness of affliction. And in the day of affliction, there's a forgetfulness of prosperity. That's what happens with us, man. It's how quickly we forget. Right? I quoted it. Might as well just get it so they can throw it in their notes. It's in Ecclesiasticus. It's Ecclesiasticus. He'll find it. So we got to see that the Most High, the sad part about it was, man, the Most High was always with us. Up until this point with Samuel, the Most High was always riding with Israel, even in our wickedness. Because if he wasn't, he wouldn't send righteous men to correct us. One king went off, then his son came and his son was on point. Then that son went off and then he had a son and that son was on point. So the Most High was trying to show us, like, listen, and even before the kings, he sent us righteous prophets. He sent us Samuel, he sent us Eli, right? He sent us these righteous judges, Deborah, Samson, right? There was a few others. Joshua, Caleb, Moses. So he was always riding with Israel, but we were in that carnal mind of not seeing it, but then we didn't even understand, well, I'm getting blessed. We were like, yeah, I'm doing that. I'm getting blessed. Yeah, I pulled me up off the bootstraps. I pulled myself up by the bootstraps. No, you didn't. The Most High did it for you. Where you at?
1 Samuel chapter 8, verse 7, last precept.
Jermaine, where you at?
Ecclesiasticus 11, verse 25.
Go ahead.
In the day of prosperity, there is a forgetfulness of affliction.
Right, and ain't that how we operate? You start making it, man. You start getting thick, blessed. And you're like, damn, I forgot when it was hard. Go ahead.
And in the day of affliction,
right,
there is no more remembrance of prosperity.
Man, you forget when you had it good. And you think that it's the end of the world and you're going to die in your affliction, forgetting that the Most High, he's carrying you. And this is what Israel forgot throughout time. Jump back to Samuel.
1 Samuel chapter 8, verse 7, last precept.
Go ahead.
That I should not reign over them.
Read.
According to all the works which they have done since the day that I brought them up out of Egypt,
Come on.
even unto this day, wherewith they have forsaken me.
Wait, Israel did what?
Forsaken me.
Yeah, we forsake the Most High. Read.
And served other gods.
Read.
So do they also unto thee.
Yeah, he said so. Forsake them. The Most High is cold, man. He said the same thing they did to me, we gonna do to them. And what are we gonna do? How are we gonna teach them a lesson? Read.
Verse 9. Now, therefore hearken unto their voice.
Right.
Howbeit yet protest solemnly unto them.
Right.
And show them the manner of the king that shall reign over them.
Now this is cold. The Most High said, Samuel, go show them what kind of man they gonna get. Now, it's the Most High, right? Most High loves Israel. He looking out for our benefit, our well-being. Surely he's gonna be like, man, this man's gonna be upright, steadfast, diligent. He's gonna be a warrior. He's gonna be a warrior for the Most High. He's gonna put it down. He's gonna strive for the truth till death. Surely he's gonna be the most faithful man on the earth, a friend of the Most High, the most meek. Right? That's what I thought I was gonna read. But read. Let's see what type of man this was gonna be.
And Samuel told all the words of the Most High unto the people that asked of him a king.
Read.
And he said, this will be the manner of the king that shall reign over you.
Go ahead.
He will take your son.
He will do what?
Take your son.
Because the Most High wasn't taking our sons. He took a tribe, right? He took a whole tribe to himself, the Levites. Remember when he designated the Levites, instead of taking every tribe's firstborn to be the priest, he said, just give me the tribe of Levite to myself. So now he's coming back like, hey, this king's going to take your sons. Because a king needs warriors. A king needs servants. He needs somebody to ride them chariots. So he was reminding them, listen, this king is going to take from you. Go ahead.
And appoint them for himself.
And he's going to take them to himself. Samuel had 3,000 bodyguards, or Saul had 3,000 bodyguards. Jonathan, his son, had 2,000 bodyguards just for them. So that's 2,000 sons gone. 5,000 sons gone from the nation. And that's just the bodyguards. That ain't talking about the army, the servants, the maids, the this, the cleaner, the man, come on. You talking about thousands of men designated to the temple of Saul, the kingdom of Saul. Go ahead.
For his chariots.
Right.
And to be his horsemen.
Yeah, so he's going to take them to war for himself. Y'all see this? He's going to take them to war for himself. Go ahead.
And some shall run before his chariot.
Right.
And he will appoint him captains over thousands and captains over 50s, and will set them to ear his ground.
Yeah, and some of these dudes, man, they'll have rank captains and they'll have stature. But he said they're going to get them to do what?
Set them to ear his ground.
And he will set, yeah, they're going to be farmers. I'm taking your sons to be farmers. Go ahead.
And to reap his harvest.
You see that? They come in the servants of the king. Read.
And to make his instruments of war.
Right.
And instruments of his
Now,
chariot.
think about it. Wasn't this stuff already going on?
God.
Right. This was already happening. This was already happening. They already had farmers and men making instruments of war because we went to war. But now, you have to do it in the name of this man. How are you going to feel about that? It's no longer in the name of the Most High, Bahashem Yahushai. It's in the name of Saul, via the Most High. He's a proxy now. That's going to make you feel some type of way. Because what if Saul wants to go to war on his own account? Did he do that? You see that? You go fight the war of the Most High. The Most High is going to fight for you. Saul took it, we read it earlier, right? Last week, Saul took it on himself to go chase down the Philistines, wear his people out, and cause them to sin. You see that? So now everything is on Saul. Read on.
Verse 13. And he will take your daughters.
And he's going to do what?
Take your daughters.
It ain't just your sons. He's going to take your daughters. Read.
To be confectionaries.
Right. They're going to be confectionaries. They're going to be, you know how the king likes to have them women, man. King likes to have a few different women by his bedside. He might have a bed warmer. He might have a handmaid. He might have a few damsels, in his harem. They're going to be confectionaries. Read what you got.
It says, anything prepared with sugar as fruit, a sweet meat.
I love that definition. They're going to be his little delicacies.
Yes.
They're going to be his little dainty things. Like, that's my boo. Yeah. Confectionaries is just it's just a poetic word that the Most High used. What else you got?
And then it says a soft electuary.
Oof.
And the definition of electuary is like a form of medicine. It's
gonna
like
be,
honey.
Yeah, they're going to be the tenderonis to the king.
Yeah, something sweet.
You see that? Go ahead, read on.
And to be cooks.
And to be what?
Cooks.
Right. So they're going to be tenderonis. They're going to be cooks. What else?
And to be bakers.
Read.
And he will take your field.
Right.
And your vineyard.
Right.
And your olive yards. Even the best of them. And give them to his servants.
You see that? Because now the king can operate in this sovereignty of, well, I need the land I need a chariot city like Solomon. Or I need this land to propose it to the kingdom so we can build. That's the king. And the king's rule goes. But when was the Most High ever like, give me your land? Give me your daughters? Never. He was giving us land. He was giving us sons and daughters. He was multiplying us. The Most High never took. So he was showing that you're going to get this man, and he's going to have to take from you to push this kingdom, to push his kingship. But it was all within the king's right. Right?
Come.
Go ahead.
Verse 15. And he will take the tenth of your seed.
So you got to pay tithes to him. You got to pay tithes to the priest. You're going to take a tenth. Go ahead.
And of your vineyard.
Right.
And give to his officers.
And he's going to take these things and give them to his officers, man. Man, here's your reward for fighting a good battle. That field over there, yeah, that was our Major's field, but now that's your field. Major don't need that. You deserve that. You fought for it. Go ahead.
And to his servants.
Right.
And he will take your men servants. And your maid servants.
Right.
And your goodliest young men.
Right. He's going to take the best looking of all your men. Read.
And your asses. And put them to his work.
No, he's going to divide them equally amongst the kingdom.
Put them to his work.
Yeah, because he can designate anything he wants as the king's work. Go ahead.
He will take the tenth of your sheep.
Read.
And ye shall be his servants.
And ye shall be what?
His servants.
Read on.
And ye shall cry out in that day because of your king.
Right.
Which ye shall have chosen you.
See, and the Most High was very clear. He said, you chose this. I didn't choose him. I wouldn't have chose you. Listen, the Most High didn't choose Saul. We did. Let's get that clear cut.
Right.
We chose what manner of man we wanted to represent us. And we got Saul. A greedy, covetous, envious, evil outlook type of man. That's just what he was. He was a brother, right? He was the first king of Israel, but he didn't represent the Most High and how the Most High wanted things done. There's no way he did. He represented the people and how the people operated at that time. Go ahead, read on.
And the Most High will not hear you in that day.
He's not going to do what?
Hear you in that
I
day.
don't want to hear this, man. You chose him. The Most High is not mocked. A man will reap what he sows. This is what you want. This is what you're going to get. Go ahead.
Nevertheless, the people refused to obey the voice of Samuel.
Yeah, nevertheless, Israel, hard-headed, stiff-necked, no. That's not going to happen, Samuel. Samuel was prophesying on these fools, man. And they were like, man, listen, just do what we say. Give us what we want. Go ahead.
And they said, nay, but we will have a king over us.
Right.
That we also may be like all the nations.
Like what?
All the nations.
See, because Israel's point of view was skewed. We want to be so much like the nations that we will put ourselves in calamity to obtain what they got. Even until this day. even unto this day, to get the fame and the fortune of the nations, you'll walk out on a limb. You'll walk out on a limb to get it, man. You'll put your family in some real tight spots, man.
God.
And what is the nations really handing out? They got a ticket to the kingdom that I don't know about? What do the nations got? Because even when you sit amongst them, they look at you like you a nigga anyway. Right? They mock you. They laugh at you behind your back. They speak their language so you can't understand it. Talk bad about you. What's up?
It's interesting because I was reading an article this morning that it's like Nigeria is finally waking up. Like they now starting to kick like the South African, the white South Africans out of their country and all their businesses because they finally like realizing like, oh, you know what? Yeah, they've been screwing us over the whole time, but they was doing all that for money.
Yeah.
And now it's like, okay, now y'all.
Now you finally wake up. But what shall a man give in exchange for his soul? And that's what we got to ask. And that's what the people did. They exchanged a man. In exchange, it was really they exchanged it for their souls, man. Because now this man is going to be in charge of everything that has to do with you. Your whole livelihood is going to be about pleasing the king. And listen, Saul wasn't a righteous king. Saul was not David. Saul was not Solomon. Saul was a self-willed man that was greedy. And that's why he led himself to almost murder David on a few occasions. It just shows you, what are you willing to give yourself to? What are you willing to give up to fulfill, really to fulfill what the wicked are doing? The prosperity of the wicked, right? Psalm 73, it's like you almost slip trying to fulfill their prosperity instead of looking at your prosperity and your goals and your aspirations and what the Most High wants from us. Read on.
1 Samuel chapter 8, verse 20, second precept. And that our king may judge us,
right,
and go out before us,
read,
and fight our battles.
Right, read on. Whoa. And do what?
Fight our battles.
And this is the key point that got me. We want a king that's going to fight our battles. So you niggas is really talking about, yeah, we want to go out and lose then. We want to go out and lose and send 12,000 men out and come back with 1,000. That's what Israel was asking for. Or come back with none. But it just shows you the mindset of the people. Like the Most High said, I'm the one that goeth forth and fight for you. He said, I fight the battle, right? So you got to really see the mind state of the people. You got to see the mindset of the people, man. They were off. They were off in asking for this king, and they're really thinking that this king was going to go out and fight battles for them. Yeah, he was going to go out and fight, but come on, man. Saul got whooped on a few times. Saul got beat a few times because of his outlook and the way he handled things. Read on.
Verse 21. And Samuel heard all the words of the people.
Read.
And he rehearsed them in the ears of the Most High.
Right. He went out to the Most High like this is what they said. Go ahead.
Verse 22. And the Most High said to Samuel, hearken unto their voice.
Yeah. Go ahead and give them what they want. Read.
And make them a king.
Read.
And Samuel said unto the men of Israel, go ye every man unto his city.
Right. So now you know, as we read last week, he goes in, Most High tells him about Saul coming around looking for his lambs, anoint him king. It was almost like anoint the first nigga you see king. Right? It wasn't like, remember, Saul wasn't chosen because of his intellect, his righteous judgment. At least it doesn't say that. It says he was chosen because he was the goodliest man of all Israel. He was the tallest and the best looking. Yes, sir.
On verse 22, where it says, go ye, the last precept, go ye every man unto his city.
Right.
Is that in reference to like in verse 4 where it reads, then all the elders of Israel gathered themselves together? Is that like, was he talking to those elders when he said that?
This was talking to the nation.
Oh, everybody.
Yeah, the elders came and said, this is what we want. And then the people were like, yeah, this is what we want. Right?
Gotcha.
So this was the people, man.
Come.
They all gathered. He sent them all off. Remember, we all dwell in different lands. So everybody went and dispersed.
Right.
Because when Saul was anointed, all of Israel came together in one place.
Got it.
Right? So we went through some different points about Saul, right? That his outlook wasn't pure. We went through that. And y'all could always go back and watch the first class. I'm going to just do like a quick little brush over of what we hit on. So we talked about Saul's outlook not being pure. We talked about his hasty decision making. We talked about him taking it upon himself to avenge himself and not letting the Most High take vengeance. Right? We also talked about how Saul passed the blame onto others and didn't own up to his mistakes as the king. What else? We also talked about Saul, and this is where I'm going to start from. How Saul, he had more mercy on the nations than he did on his own son, being an Israelite, where he wanted to kill Jonathan for eating some honey because of a vow that he made hastily, but he spared the king of Agag, which was the Amalekites, which are the Edomites that are in our land now, where he should have went through and wiped them out. So let's go to 14. Let's go to 1 Samuel 14:38.
Come. 1 Samuel chapter 14, verse 38.
Right.
And Saul said, draw ye near hither, all the chief of the people, and know and see wherein this sin hath been this day. For as the Most High liveth, which saveth Israel, though it be in Jonathan my son, he shall surely die.
Right.
But there was not a man among all the people that answered him.
Right. So Jonathan, Saul made the decree that, or the vow, that any man that ate anything before they wiped out all the Philistines or before nightfall, he will be put to death. It happened to be his own son that ate the honey, because he didn't hear when Saul said that. He was off fighting the battle over here. Saul just throws some random nonsense out. So Saul goes back to the Most High to ask, hey, should we go back and pursue the Philistines? The Most High doesn't hear Saul. He doesn't answer Saul. Why? Because Saul didn't let nobody eat. They were all faint when they got when it was time for them to eat. What were they doing? Who remembers? When they wiped out some of the Philistines and took the spoil. Well, he made them basically fast until they killed everybody. But in doing that, when it was time for them to eat, what were they eating?
The raw meat.
They were eating the raw meat. So he made them sin. So the Most High was like, well, I'm not going to answer what you want because you caused my people to sin. Go ahead.
Verse 39. Salaki. Yeah. Verse 39. For as the Most High liveth, which saveth Israel, though it be in Jonathan my son, he shall surely die.
Right.
But there was not a man among all the people that answered him.
Right. So now Saul is trying to figure out, okay, who sinned? We're going to cast lots. I know it ain't me. That's what Saul was on. Like, I didn't do nothing. He didn't look at himself, man, and own up. As the king, you take the what?
The blame.
You take the glory and you take the blame, right? But he didn't want to take the blame. He wanted that glory. He didn't want to take the blame for his actions. And so the Most High was looking at that. Oh, you passed the buck. Oh, you blame everybody else. Oh, it's always their fault. And this happened on more than one occasion. So now he's blaming Jonathan for the Most High not answering his prayers. Go ahead.
Then said he unto all Israel,
right?
Be ye on one side, and I and Jonathan my son will be on the other side. And the people said unto Saul, Do what seemeth good unto thee.
Read.
Therefore Saul said unto the Most High Power of Israel, Give a perfect lot.
Go ahead.
And Saul and Jonathan were taken, but the people escaped.
So the sin, the Most High, he cast that lot, he gave that lot, and it fell upon not the people, but on Jonathan and Saul. Go ahead.
And Saul said, cast lots between me and Jonathan my son. And Jonathan was taken.
So the sin was found in Jonathan. Read.
Then Saul said to Jonathan, tell me what thou hast done. And Jonathan told him and said, I did but taste a little honey with the end of the rod that was in my hand. And lo, I must die.
Now, we're going to see something here about Jonathan. And I didn't go over this last time. But we're going to see the integrity that was in Jonathan. Now, most men, it's like, why I got to die for? I didn't even hear you say that, right? I say something here, how's it going to affect the brothers in the mall if they didn't hear it? It shouldn't.
It shouldn't.
It shouldn't. Go ahead.
And Saul answered, Yahweh, do so and more also, for thou shalt surely die. Jonathan.
Now we're going to jump to the Josephus. Right? We're going to jump to the Josephus book.
Book 6, chapter 6, section 5.
Right. And you know, everybody knows Josephus is a Israelite historian. We got one right here. Some of them come in blue, some of them come in this little colorful brown. So it's just a reference book, not the Bible. It's not the scriptures. We don't treat it as the Bible. It's a history/reference book. It gives you a little bit more in-depthness into the stories. Go ahead.
This is Josephus, book 6, chapter 6, section 5.
Read.
And when the priest said that Yahweh did not give any answer, Saul replied,
right?
And not without some cause does God refuse to answer what we inquire of him. While yet a little while ago he declared to us all that we desired beforehand, and even prevented us in his answer. To be sure, there is some sin against him that is concealed from us, which is the occasion of his silence.
So y'all get that, right? He's saying there gotta be a reason why the Most High is not answering us. There has to be some sin that's concealed. Go ahead.
Now I swear by himself.
Right?
Now I swear by him himself, that though he that had committed this sin should prove to be my own son, Jonathan, I will slay him.
He said, I will do what?
I will slay him.
Go ahead.
And by that means will appease the anger of God
now,
against us.
Think about it. We talked about it last week. This was that fake righteousness, that what was the term we used last week? That fake piety towards the Most High, like, oh, I'm trying to appease the Most High's anger. Then why are you so rebellious?
Right.
If it's about appeasing the Most High's anger, why is there rebellion in you? Go ahead.
And that in the very same manner as if I were to punish a stranger.
He said what?
And that in the very same manner as if I were to punish a stranger.
He said, I'm going to punish my own son as if he was a stranger. That's very key. Read on.
And one not at all related to me for the same offense.
And this nigga was cold. Saul was a cold man. Read.
This is Jonathan's integrity.
Now, in the same book, we're going to look at what Jonathan was on. Because Jonathan could have easily been like, hell no, I ain't going to die. Nigga, what are you talking about? But, and to show that, there were parts of Saul that were in Jonathan, but not all.
Okay.
There were things that Saul were, some bad virtues that were in Saul that weren't in Jonathan.
Okay.
Read.
O Father, I have done nothing more than that yesterday.
Right.
Without knowing of the curse and oath thou hast denounced. While I was in pursuit of the enemy, I tasted of a honeycomb. But Saul swore that he would slay him, and preferred the observation of his oath before all the ties of birth and of nature.
You see that? Saul preferred to fulfill some fictitious oath before looking and being a father, right? Having some compassion and saying, you know what? I said something out of haste. Let me spare my own son. Go ahead.
And Jonathan was not dismayed at this threatening of death.
Yeah, Jonathan was like, okay, I guess I'm guilty. Read.
But offered himself to it generously and undauntedly.
Undauntedly, like he wasn't even fearful. He was like, let's get it over with. That's the type of men we was rocking. That's the type of men we were.
Yeah, I like that. But it like goes back in that Maccabees with the son. It was like, listen, we sinned. You know what I'm saying? Let's just take it. But that's righteousness, man. That's a man after the most. Come on, got the microphones on. That's a man after the Most High's mind, man. It's like, listen, we gonna own up to it.
Yep.
If we gotta take a bullet, you know what I mean? Take a scalding, we gonna take it.
He was ready to take death.
Yeah.
For something that was done out of ignorance and foolishness. Read.
And undauntedly he said, nor do I desire you, Father, to spare me. Death will be to me very acceptable when it proceeds from thy piety, and after a glorious victory. For it is the greatest consolation to me that I leave the Hebrews victorious over the Philistines.
Now, check this out. Go to Josephus, book 6, chapter 7, section 2. Now, remember, this man said that he would slay strangers. He would slay his son as if he was a stranger. Now, the Most High sent Saul in to go kill the Amalekites, right?
Who's the modern day Jewish people?
Who is
Jewish people?
Modern day, those are the modern day so-called Jews that are in your land that practice your customs.
That sold us into slavery.
Sold us into slavery. They defile your land.
Right, that bought the ships. Put on their ships.
Right. They're the same people that the Most High told Saul to go and utterly wipe out. Right? So, where's it at? I just want to read the verse.
Chapter 7.
No, hold that real quick. I just want to read.
Oh, what he said that.
To go wipe them out. Oh, yeah, here it is. Go to 1 Samuel. Somebody, 1 Samuel 15 and verse 2.
1 Samuel chapter 15, verse 2. Thus said the Most High of Hosts, I remember that which Amalek did to Israel.
Right.
How he had,
he said, do what?
I remember that which Amalek did to Israel.
Right, because back in history, they were cutting us off in the slaughter and preventing us from passing by their land. Go ahead.
How he laid wait for him in the way.
Read.
When he came up from Egypt. Now go and smite Amalek and utterly destroy all that they have and spare them not.
Spare some things.
Spare them not.
Spare the king.
Spare them not.
Right, go ahead.
But slay both man and woman.
Read.
Infant and suckling.
Come on.
Ox and sheep.
Camel
and ass.
Spare nothing. You gonna pour bleach in the fish tank.
Right.
You gonna pour beer inside the plants. Right. You gonna wipe everything out.
Listen, if something's running, you better get it.
Yeah. You gonna snipe everything.
Right.
You gonna stifle the baby. Everything.
Dash against the wall, man.
Everything. Now let's go to Josephus. Book 6, chapter 7, section 2.
This is Josephus, book 6, chapter 7, section 2.
Now this is going to show you something about Saul, where Saul, he had no mercy on his own nation, but he was about the outward appearance of things. Watch, read.
He also took Agag, the enemy's king, captive.
Right.
The beauty and tallness of whose body he admired so much.
Read.
That he thought him worthy of preservation.
See, he thought that the king of Agag, remember, how was Saul chosen? Off of his beauty and off of his tallness. Remember, it said that when Saul stood amongst the people, he was shoulder height above everybody. He was taller than everybody, and it said he was the good shoulder up. He was taller than everyone, and he was the goodliest man, best looking. So he was like, this guy is like me. He saw himself in the king of the Amorites.
And when you look at that, man, Israel do the same thing today, man. Just how a brother look, how he's dressed.
And you start to show favor to him?
Yeah.
But that's why it says, abhor not a man for his outward appearance. Right? But where was
tall, dark, and handsome?
Right. Yeah. Right. He's tall, dark, handsome, six-pack.
Right.
I gotta say it, dreads and muscles. Right? I'm not talking about major. It's only dreads and muscles guys. We got in class.
In life.
Right? But that's what they be on, like dreads and muscles, right? They six-packs, and he got guns, 34-inch guns. But that's what Saul was on.
God.
He was on the outward appearance of everything. So it said he spared this king because of his tallness, and because of his outward look. Go ahead.
Gone. Yet was not this done, however, according to the will of God.
Now, check this out. This wasn't what the Most High wanted. So what would have to be in you for you to make a decree and want to kill your own offspring, but save some stranger? What had to really be in you?
Hate.
Yeah, a lot of hate. A skewed. Remember, we went to it. To the defiled, to the pure, all things are pure. But to the defiled and unbelieving is nothing pure. Even their conscience is defiled. Titus 1:16. So Saul had a defiled conscience about him, a defiled outlook on the way he viewed things. And this showed, even in this, it showed his rebelliousness and his self-will to do what he wanted. Remember, Saul is a reflection of the people. Keep that in mind. Saul, and look at it like this, man. If Saul is a reflection of the whole nation at this time, let's scale it down. You can scale it down to families and say, well, your family is a reflection of you. If you're the head of your household, right? If you practice in 1 Corinthians 11. No, I went there already. But if you're practicing Corinthians 11, then everybody under you is going to follow you. Right? And we can go there. Ecclesiasticus, the 10th chapter, as a leader of the people is, so is his officers.
It's 10 and 2.
Yeah, Ecclesiasticus, and I think I'm repeating. We said this last time, but go ahead, throw it in there.
Ecclesiasticus 10, verse 2.
Go ahead.
As the judge of the people
Read.
is himself, so are his officers.
Right, he's a reflection. So if you're a man and you judge your household reflects on how you judge. If you're a leader of a congregation and the congregation is running around, that's reflecting something in you. Now, and let's get both sides of it. Is that always the case? Nah, because people got their own free will. Your wife got her own free will. Men got their own free will. You know, just because your wife is rebellious don't mean that you are. Just because, you know, brothers are prideful don't mean that their leader is prideful. Because every man has a free choice. So you got to look at both aspects. But we know that the people were covetous. It tells you every man did what was right according to his own way, according to what was right in his own eyes. Read on. Read on in Josephus.
Yes, sir. But by giving, I'm going to start right here. Yet was not this done, however, according to the will of God, but by giving way to human passion.
Right?
And suffering himself to be moved with an unseasonable
commiseration.
Commiseration.
Right. It was like, man, I got to show this guy pity. It said it was an unreasonable pity that he showed this king. Like, man, I feel sorry for this guy.
Unseasonable, right?
Yeah, it said, unseasonable. Like, that wasn't the time to show pity.
Right.
Most High said, kill the babies. And when you read that story in the Josephus, he said, kill the women and the children first. So the men can watch. Yeah, the men can see, like, this what happens to your family. That's that gangster mob.
Come on, man.
I'm gonna wipe out your family.
That's the most high of the Bible, man. These cats been playing with the book for a long
No,
time.
that's that art of war.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you're gonna watch your children die.
You're gonna let this in your memories. Write that in your book. Write that in your history books, man.
Yeah. But the Most High is a man of war.
And this was righteous, man, because those individuals, those Philistines, if y'all go back in history, they were defiled. Wickedness, they had warlocks, wizards, all the abomination of witchcraft. That's what they was doing.
The Philistines, the Amalekites, and this was Amalek at this time.
Amalek, yeah.
Yeah, they were filthy too. But it said that they were going to be a snare to us in the future.
Yep.
I mean, I feel very snared.
Oh, come on.
I feel very snared. Because when you talk to them, they'll tell you that you ain't a Jew. That the 9.5 tribes of law said, I'm from the tribe of Benjamin.
Right.
I'm like, bro, you ain't no damn Benjamite. Get out of here. You ain't no Benjamite. You ain't no descendant of you're not even worthy to be a descendant of Saul. Hell nah. You ain't powerful. You ain't strong.
Right.
Let's read on.
In a point where it was not safe for him to indulge it.
Right?
For God hated the nation of the Amalekites to such a degree that he commanded Saul to have no pity on even those infants which we by nature chiefly compassionate.
Yeah, you see a little baby, oh, he got the little big eyes, oh, goo goo gaga. I can't kill that. Most High said, nope, you gonna kill them. Read.
But Saul preserved their king
Right.
and governor from the miseries which the Hebrews brought on the people.
Right.
As if he preferred the fine appearance of the enemy to the memory of what God had sent him about.
Read.
The multitude were also guilty together with Saul, for they spared the herds and the flocks and took them for a prey.
Right.
When God had commanded they should not spare them.
Right, because that was the commandment. Don't spare. I don't want these abominable animals. These animals are an abomination. I don't want them. Go ahead.
They also carried off with them the rest of their wealth and riches. But if there were anything that was not worthy of regard, that they destroyed.
Go to 1 Samuel 13 and verse 2. So Saul was about the outward appearance of things and not the righteousness of things.
It's like in Jeremiah, the Most High says that he doesn't judge off the appearance. He judges off of what's inside the person's heart. The Most High searches the heart.
Yeah, even it says it even in Samuel when he was choosing David.
Right.
And all David's brothers lined up. And all of them was looking beautiful and big and strong because they were all bigger than David. Think about that. David was a 16-year-old boy. And his brothers were all bigger than him. And the Most High told Samuel, don't look at them because I refuse them. I look at man not on that outward, but I judge the heart. So he was setting the stage that I'm not going to choose the next king off of the outward appearance only. Right? David was they said he was a good-looking man. He was comely, right? So, but David had integrity and all these other characteristics that Saul envied David. Why? And we're going to get there. Read 1 Samuel 13 and verse 2.
1 Samuel chapter 13, verse 2.
Because, even when you read this Josephus, I ain't gonna lie, when I first read it, I was like, wait a minute, was Saul homosexual? Like, you prefer the appearance of a man, but it wasn't that he was homosexual or anything like that, or that he liked men. It was what he looked at, his outlook on things. And it's gonna show you here. Watch, read.
Saul chose him 3,000 men of Israel,
Right?
whereof 2,000 were with Saul in Michmash and in Mount Bethel,
Right?
and 1,000 were with Jonathan in Gibeah
Read.
of Benjamin.
Read.
And the rest of the people he sent every man to his tent.
So Saul had 3,000 bodyguards. These were just 3,000 men to guard his body. And Jonathan had 1,000. Now let's see. Go to Josephus, book 6, chapter 6, section 6.
Josephus, book 6, chapter 6, and section 6.
And we're going to see what he chose his bodyguards after. What characteristics he chose his body. Because if I got bodyguards, I'm picking the cats that can fight. I'm picking the dudes that can fight, that they can listen and obey orders. Hey, we got to go in here, kill the Amalekites, and don't touch nothing. And they got to obey the orders, right? That's what you're going to pick. Read.
Saul had also a great many chariots and horsemen.
Right?
And against whomsoever he made war, he returned conqueror, and advanced the affairs of the Hebrews to a great degree of success and prosperity, and made them superior to other nations. And he made such of the young men as were remarkably for tallness.
They were what?
Remarkably for tallness.
Here it goes again with this tallness. Like, what, you got a basketball team? He got the tallest guys, go ahead.
And comeliness.
And the best looking. Now, when David had his men, it said they were mighty men of valor. Right? They were experts in war, bow and arrows. Right? When they went in, they fought over a lentil field and just wiped people out over a lentil field.
Oh yeah, jumping on troops.
Yeah. But it said that Samuel's men were chosen because of their tallness.
Tall and pretty.
And because of and what else? Their comeliness. Right? Go ahead, read on.
Tallness and comeliness, the guards of his body.
Right. Now, what was the problem with that? Well, the problem with that, somebody go to John 7:24 while I look for this other one. Go ahead.
I was going to say, it makes sense now why, when Saul was chasing David, why David was able to sneak. Even though it said, the Most High put that deep sleep on them.
Yeah.
It makes sense now why David was able to sleep. Am I jumping?
No, you're not. Go ahead. That's perfect.
it makes sense why David was able to sneak up and grab Saul's staff and his water canteen and then leave.
Yeah,
because
and
he didn't.
yeah,
he didn't pick men that were. He chose his men off of their tallness and their comeliness. He didn't pick them because of what they were capable of doing.
But check this out. How were you at? Guess 1 Samuel 15 and verse 24.
1 Samuel chapter 15, verse 24.
Go ahead.
And Saul said unto Samuel, I have sinned, for I have transgressed the commandment of the Most High.
Go ahead.
In thy words, because I feared the people.
Because I what?
Feared the people.
Now you're the king.
But I feared the people.
But how could you fear the men that you ordered? Well, because he didn't pick the right men. He didn't pick men with values and character, with virtue. He picked killers. Because all he did was judge off the outward appearance. So he picked rebellious, stiff-necked, hard-headed, covetous murderers just like himself. Y'all see this? Now go to St. John 7 and verse 24.
John 7:24. Judge not according to the appearance.
This is plain out. Judge not according to the appearance. Go ahead.
But judge righteous judgment.
Yes, that's what it should be. Well, I'm going to dedicate these men to fight wars for me. Let me make sure that they're upright. Let me make sure that they ain't gonna be faint-hearted in the battle. Let me make sure that they're not about filthy lucre. These men were about filthy lucre. That's why it says they flied upon the spoils. Y'all get this? What are Proverbs 24 verse 23? Oh. Proverbs 20. Yeah, Saul was trash, but guess what? He was a reflection of a trash nation at the time. We were super trash.
When you look at Saul, man, Saul just did what he wanted to. Saul had his own judgment. Saul had his own mentality that he was in. Like, yeah, you're going to tell me to kill everybody, but I'm going to do it my way, and look what happened.
Yeah. Or I'm going to just, or the opposite, because that's a good point too, but even the opposite of, I'm scared of these men. I picked the wrong men, now I'm scared.
Right.
And if I rise up against them, it's only one of me and 3,000 of them. You pick 3,000 thugs. It's like you the mob boss. It's like you the brains of an operation. Right. And you pick some real live just killers. And they just overpower you and take over everything and cut you out the deal.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, what can I get? Let me get this king over here. That's how it was going. It was like a real live movie. Go ahead, read that. Psalms 24:23. Proverbs 24:23.
Proverbs 24:23.
Uh-huh.
These things also belong to the wise.
Go ahead.
It is not good to have respect of persons and judges.
It said these things belong to the wise, but we know that Saul wasn't a wise man. He was hasty and foolish. Go ahead.
He that saith unto the wicked,
right?
Thou art righteous.
Read.
Him shall the people curse.
And that's what Saul did. He was picking wicked men and putting them in these positions. And he made it a curse. Go ahead.
Nations shall abhor him.
Read on, verse 25.
But to them that rebuke him shall be delight. And a good blessing shall come unto them.
And there was no good blessing that came to Saul. Because he wasn't rebuking wicked men. He was in cohorts with them. Go to 1 Samuel 13 and verse 30. 1 Samuel 13 and verse 8. So the next point.
1 Samuel chapter 13 and verse 8.
Now the next point is Saul really wasn't a faithful man. Remember the Most High said, those things that thou have heard of me, commit thou unto faithful men that can teach others also. Right? 2 Timothy 2. Saul wasn't a faithful man he didn't have faith. He didn't have faith when it was needed. Watch, read 1 Samuel 13 and verse 8.
And he tarried 7 days according to the set time that Samuel had appointed.
Right, so this is the Philistines wearing Israel out. Or about to. They're about to wear Israel down. And all the men start scattering because they're wearing them out. They see the troop approaching. They're getting weary, but the men really started to peel off from Saul and run away. So, read on.
But Samuel came not to Gilgal,
Right.
and the people were scattered from him.
Right, because Samuel told Saul, he said, listen, go down to Gilgal, stay here for 7 days. Just wait for 7 days. It'll be all good. Now, who talks to the Most High at this time? Ain't it not Samuel? Saul ain't got no dealings with the Most High except for going through that mediator, right? So, I mean, the thing is to listen and say, you know what, let me listen to what the prophet is saying. Go wait for 7 days and just wait, no matter what. And I'm sure Saul was like, or Samuel was like, listen, just wait. I'll be there. Don't get hasty. Don't do nothing crazy. Just wait. Be patient.
Yeah, I got you, man.
I got you, son. I got your back, yo.
Yep.
I got you, man. Just go ahead, read.
Verse 9. And Saul said, bring hither a burnt offering to me.
Wait, was Saul the king or the priest? He said, do what?
Bring hither a offering to me.
Read.
And peace offering.
Come on.
And he offered the burnt offering.
Right.
And it came to pass that as soon as he had made an end of offering the burnt offering, behold, Samuel came. And Saul went out to meet him.
So he burns the burnt offering. He sees Samuel coming. He runs up to Samuel. Saluting him, right? Go ahead.
That he might salute him.
Read.
And Samuel said, what hast thou done?
Checked him. He's like, man, what the hell is wrong with you, bro? What have you done? Read.
And Saul said, because I saw the people were scattered from me, and that thou camest not within the days appointed, and that the Philistines gathered themselves together at Michmash, therefore said I, the Philistines will come down now upon me to Gilgal, and I have not made supplication unto the Most High.
That wasn't your job. That wasn't his job to make supplication. His job was to sit there and wait for 7 days. What are you going to say?
I was going to say also, man, when you think about it like
this
this.
rebellious ass Benjamites? Oh, go ahead.
Oh,
Go ahead.
Hey.
Go ahead.
As soon as he was done making the sacrifice, as soon as he was done making the offering, that's when Samuel walked in.
Yeah.
So it also shows the lack of patience.
Yeah.
Like, as soon as you're done, oh man, come on, man.
Like, damn, if I would have just waited another 15 minutes, he could have did his job. I could have did my job, and we could have won something.
So it's like, I bet Saul like literally waited till like the sun went down. I was like, well, he's not here. Just bring the offering. Let's just go ahead and do it. Like literally when the sun went down. Like he ain't giving no time or nothing. I'm done.
I also was in reading this thinking he too, not only did he lack faith, trust in Samuel, patience, but then because he lacked those things, he didn't have a healthy fear, but he was fearing the Philistines. So he had that fear on him that something was going to happen, but it was only because he wasn't doing the right things anyway. So,
Right. Right. He had a fear. It's like the brother that every time the cops pull up behind him, his butt puckers up. Oh my God. It's like, what you scared for? Like, why you ducking? Like, what you do? Like, the cops get behind me. I'm like, how do? I'll look at them, hey, and then I'm like, what you got to be scared of? But only if you're doing something wicked. Only the wicked fear. Only the wicked have that fear in them, man. Saul had that fear because he didn't have that respect for order. He didn't have that patience, but he didn't have faith in the Most High. That the Most High, he didn't need burnt offerings and sacrifice. He didn't need that. He just needed real respect and love for the Most High. Watch, read on.
I forced myself, therefore.
And I did what?
I forced myself, therefore.
Because he knew it wasn't his job. He had to force himself to do it. He probably didn't even know what the hell he was doing. Go ahead.
And offered a burnt offering.
Read.
And Samuel said to Saul, thou hast done foolishly.
Thou hast done what?
Foolishly.
Read.
Thou hast not kept the commandment of the Most High thy power, which he commanded thee. For now would the Most High have established thy kingdom upon Israel forever.
He said he would have established his kingdom forever. What you got?
Give me Psalm chapter 37 and 34. Psalms 37 and verse 34. Come on, man.
Psalm chapter 37 and verse 34.
Read that.
Wait on the Most High.
Read that again.
Wait on the Most High.
Read that again.
Wait on the Most High.
Because that's what the scriptures say. Because our people, they get real antsy. Saul was hasty. His feet, he was, oh God, oh Jesus. I see these big guys over there. They probably was doing their little roof calls and all that. Had the flames going. He was scared. But the scriptures say what?
Wait on the Most High.
Read.
And keep his way.
Now, you gotta do it. Think about how many times you moved in the haste in the middle of your battle, when all you have to do is just sit back and wait. And you made a move, and that move, you thought you like, oh yeah, I'm about to make this move, and it's gonna be alright. And you made it worse. And then you sitting back like, shoulda, coulda, woulda. You get all the worldly sayings. Hindsight's 20/20.
Right.
Shoulda, coulda, woulda. I wish I wouldn't have, but I wish I would have had. All you gotta do is just, I wish I would have known what I knew back then. Like, you get hit with all that, and you're like, damn. All I have to do is just sit back. All I have to do is just sit back and wait. All I have to do is just apply what was told. Because all you have to do is just apply what was told and sit back and wait.
Yeah.
Apply what's given to you and not trying to add to it.
And then the thing about it is that the individual that was giving you that information, the individual that was giving you that wisdom, he just wasn't an average Joe.
Yeah, he wasn't a Rudy Poo.
No, this is a man of the Most High sent. He was ordained.
Oh, man.
He was there for you.
God, the funniest part about it is this. This is the same man that anointed Saul and that told Saul everything that was gonna happen to him before he was even anointed. And Saul believed it. So it's like, where did your outlook change? Why did your outlook on this man change? Because it's not about the man, it's about what every man wants.
Yeah.
And it's about what you fear. That hastiness, it's about what you fear though. You look at, like you said, they was probably doing their little war calls and beating their drums, and he sees the men scattering. He's like, oh my God, my beautiful tall men are leaving. But what about the Most High? See that? But that's what happens when you get into your little fight, your little battle spiritually. All the things that you put around you that you thought was going to protect you, the car break down, that ain't no protection. Right? They start beefing with you at work, that ain't no protection. Right? Your kids start bucking up, that ain't the protection. Right? Everything around you, the money fails, everything fails. The damn cable get cut off. You're like, damn, I can't even catch a Netflix series. But because you can't rely on those things. You can't rely on the men around you to fight your battles. The only thing is you and the Most High. And letting him be the shield and the buckler. Right? Finish up Psalms.
Yeah, read that.
Book of Psalms, chapter 37, verse 34. Wait on the Most High and keep his way.
It says do what?
Keep his way.
Yeah, keep his way. That's all you had to do. Listen to what Samuel told you and abide in that. Don't be shaky. Don't jump. But it says keep his way. Read.
And he shall exalt thee to inherit the land.
That's exactly what Saul would have. That's what would have happened if you'd have waited on the Most High, man. Waited on what Samuel told him. He would have inherited the land. Just like Samuel said, the kingdom would have been in your hands forever.
Yeah.
Read.
When the wicked are cut off.
Read that again.
When the wicked are cut off.
Because they will be. But we have to stay on the path. Wait. Be of good courage. Be faithful. See, but a lot of cats, that's the test though, man. It's like, what's the point to where you're going to break? Is there a break where you're going to point? Or is there a point when you're going to break? Or you're going to continue in?
Or is there a point where you lock in and say, you know what? It's not about how big the enemy is.
Yep.
It's not about how fancy they got their weaponry, or it's not about how prosperous the wicked is, but what is the Most High trying to show me? What is he trying to bring me through? What am I being worked out in me? What virtues, what values are being purged, I'm going to say purged into me, and what negative is being purged out? But see, it's about your outlook and how you look at things. Saul's outlook was already skewed.
Read.
Thou shalt see it.
Where you at?
That was the last precept.
That's it. Let that be.
Go to Luke 16 and verse 10. Now, again, this showed a lot of things about Saul, but what I was trying to, and what I'm really trying to point out is the unfaithfulness in Saul. Because he was unfaithful to the commandment. He was unfaithful to the orders. Go to Luke 16:10.
Book of Luke, chapter 16, verse 10.
Right?
He that is faithful and that which is least
Yeah, just stand here and wait for 7 days. Go ahead.
is faithful also in much.
Going right along with the same scripture you pulled. You faithful in a little bit, I'm going to give you the world. Not just the parking lot, Craig, but the world. I'm going to give you all of this, but stand and wait for 7 days. Stand and wait for 7 days. And I'll give you the kingdom forever. Go ahead.
And he that is unjust in the least
Right.
is unjust also in much.
And that's the thing with Saul. He was unjust in the least things. So he was whack as hell as a judge, as a king. Read on.
Verse 11.
Read.
If therefore ye have not been faithful in the unrighteous mammon,
Come on.
who will commit to your trust in the true riches?
I mean, who's going to, listen, who's going to give you the real riches of the kingdom if you can't be faithful in just the way you manage money, in the way you deal with other people, in the way you deal with the unrighteous mammon? Who's going to commit to you spiritual things? But see, that's why a lot of us can't grow. And a lot of us don't move past the first little hurdles you came in with, because you're like, well, you know, you mishandle and misabuse. And, you know, we use the word the wrong way. And you wonder, like, how come I don't get kingdoms? Bro, you haven't even conquered the block. You haven't even conquered your own household. How you going to get a kingdom? You unfaithful in your house. How you going to get the city? Read on.
Verse 12. And if ye have not been faithful in that which is another's man,
Right?
who shall give you that which is your own?
Yeah, man. Listen, whose work is this? Whose work is this, class?
Y'all
Oh,
shine.
what?
Y'all shine.
Whose will is it?
The Most High.
Right. So if you ain't faithful in another man's, how the hell you gonna get your own? How? I mean, I didn't say it. The Bible says it, man. If you can't be faithful in this, how you expect to rule worlds and have servants and slaves and get your woman in order and get your kids right and command fire from heaven? How?
It's not gonna happen.
It's not going to happen. From there, go to 2 Ezra 15 and verse 3. 2 Ezra 15 and verse 3.
2 Ezra, chapter 15, and verse 3.
I know you do. Go ahead, read.
Fear not the imagination against thee.
This was the problem with Saul. He feared the things that were coming up against him. Read.
Let not the incredulity of them trouble thee,
Go ahead.
that speak against thee.
Check this out. Read verse 4.
For all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness.
What happens to an unfaithful man?
Shall die in their
You're going to
unfaithfulness.
die in your unfaithfulness, man. You can't let anything, don't just say no weapon formed against me shall prosper. Right? I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me. Those are all the Christian scriptures. Right? Those are all the Christian scriptures. I can do anything that Christ sets my mind to. But then how come you don't use the word throughout your life? In the good and in the bad. How come you don't use the word in prosperity? Or in the hard times? How come you only use it when it suits you? Not saying anybody in here, because we all apply daily. Right? We're Israelites. We're Hebrew Israelites. Fighting and striving. Right? But how come the everyday man is like, yeah, I can do all things through Christ? Philippians 4:13. Ezekiel, right? No weapon formed against me. But then it's like when the weapon is, before the weapon is even formed, you crumble. Before the gun even get pulled out, you and you go back to the old man. You go back to the old way of fighting. Well, it tells you an unfaithful man is going to die in his unfaithfulness. Because you didn't take heed to the way, you know, it's like that. It's like we always talk about the, you got the nigga that fights in the street, and then he went to the gym and learned how to fight. And he gets into his first fight, and he turns back to the brawler, and then he just gets punched once, boom, knocked out. It's like, bro, why didn't you keep your hand up, throw the right punch, throw the right block, and win the fight? Because you were unfaithful in the method. You were unfaithful in the tools that were given to you. You're gonna die that way. That's how our people diminish. They're dying in their unfaithfulness. Go from there. Ecclesiasticus 15 and verse 14. I mean, if y'all got something to say.
No, and I love that scripture because the Bible always shows you just different angles of individuals to look upon with strength and look upon not to do that. Like Saul, like the dude was faithless, but then David was what? Courageous. Everybody was scared of Goliath. But what did David? It was like, bro, y'all gonna allow this uncircumcised Philistine to really talk down?
Yep.
Like, bro, yeah, he's 15 foot tall, 5,000 pounds, got all the gear on. Like, please. Yeah. But it shows the difference between Saul and David, man.
Well, because David knew who walked with him.
Oh, yeah.
And Saul didn't even consider that the Most High was right here with him the whole time. Ecclesiasticus 15 and verse 14.
Ecclesiasticus 15:14.
Uh-huh.
He himself made man from the beginning.
Go ahead.
And left him in the hand of his counsel.
And this is the problem, man. You left in the hand of your own counsel. And if your counsel ain't sound, if wisdom and knowledge is not your stability, you're going to be weak, you're going to be double-minded, and you're going to be unsure. The Most High is not messing with that. Go ahead.
Verse 15. If thou wilt to keep the commandments.
If thou what?
If thou wilt to keep the commandments.
Go ahead.
And to perform acceptable faithfulness.
Yeah, you got to perform the acceptable faithfulness. What is that? Well, that's what the Most High wants. The things that the Most High has ordained is acceptable faithfulness. You can't go about to establish your own righteousness, your own faithfulness. Huh?
No, I was saying it doesn't work.
Yeah, it can't work like that. It says you'll die in unfaithfulness. Go ahead.
Verse 16. He has set fire and water before thee.
Yeah, he set fire and water. Those are the two paths. Those are the two things on the side, fire and water. You can't choose dirt. Like, well, yeah, I know you got fire and water right here, but I'm gonna go for the dirt, Alex. Give me dirt for 300. Nah, bro. He said it in front, but ain't that how Israel do it? Like, I know there's fire and water, but I'm gonna be a trailblazer. I'm gonna blaze my own trail, and guess what? It'd be a wicked ass path. You blaze that trail to destruction, and you die in that path. And then all of this is a memorial. People look like, oh yeah, don't go that way. That nigga died. He went down there, man, and we ain't seen him since. Go ahead.
Stretch forth thy hand.
Read.
Unto whether thou wilt.
Go ahead.
Before man is life and death.
Come on.
And whether him liketh shall be given him.
And whatever you want is going to be given unto you. Go from there. Go to Ecclesiasticus. Oh no, wait a minute. Go to Wisdom of Solomon. Wisdom of Solomon 1 and 2.
Book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 1, verse 2.
Go ahead.
For he will be found of them that tempt him not.
Go ahead.
And sheweth himself unto such as do not just distrust him.
Yeah, you want the Most High to appear in front of you? Don't distrust him. You want him to answer your prayers? You better have some faith. Without faith is impossible. Hebrews 11 and 6. Without faith it's impossible to please the Most High. He's a rewarder of them that diligently seek him. So you want the Most High to work? You better stand your ground. You better get rooted and be sure.
Should I read that again?
Read it one more time.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 1, verse 2.
Go ahead.
For he will be found of them that tempt him not, and sheweth himself unto such as do not distrust him.
Right. So we see that David was unfaithful. Saul was he wasn't faithful, man, in the small things. So the Most High wasn't going to bless him with the kingdom. Another point that we're going to transition into is that, truthfully, you said it earlier, Saul was envious of David. He was envious of David before he even met him. You know why? Because when he was messing up, it was told to him, I'm going to find a man that's more faithful than you. I'm going to find a man that is going to do my commandment. Go to 1 Samuel 13 and 14.
1 Samuel, chapter 13, verse 14.
Go ahead.
But now thy kingdom shall not continue.
Read.
The Most High had sought him a man after his own heart.
So you hear that, you're like, what? I'm after the Most High's heart. What am I here for? And then you start second guessing, like, wait a minute, there's somebody better?
Yeah.
Man, that nigga's whack. Right? Now, if you look at the way Saul was moving before this point, it's not far-fetched to think that he was a jealous man. And he had to have a stem of jealousy in him amongst all things to want to kill David. Read.
And the Most High had commanded him to be captain over his people.
Read. Why?
Because thou hast not kept that which the Most High commanded thee.
1 Samuel 15:28.
1 Samuel chapter 15, verse 28.
Go ahead.
And Samuel said unto
So
him.
that was one instance where Samuel warned Saul, this is what's going to happen. Here's the second instance. Go ahead.
And Samuel said unto him, the Most High hath rent the kingdom of Israel from thee this day.
That would strike some fear in you, like, damn, I just lost the kingdom. Right? Because it's in the back of his mind, like, whoa, you just lost the kingdom. This is after he was supposed to kill the Amalekites, and he's trying to wrestle with Saul, like, no, come back and be with me so the Most High can love me. And with Samuel, he rent his mantle. He said, look, the same way this mantle is rent is the same way the kingdom is going to be ripped out of your hands. That's going to wake you up a little bit. And, oh, wait a minute. Who is this man that's going to come that's going to be better than me? I'm the king. Ain't nobody better. Go ahead.
And hath given it to a neighbor of thine.
Right.
That is better than thou.
Yeah, there it is. He's better than you. Flat out. It's like, whoa, wait a minute. He's better than me.
Right.
So you got to understand the thought, like the thoughts. Think about it. You at your job, and the boss is like, yeah, I got somebody waiting in the wings that's better than you, man. They better than you. You what? Huh? Wait, what? Wait. Nah, but I'm over here putting in work.
Yeah.
We know that Samuel wasn't really putting in too much work. Well, we passed that one. We passed that point. Go to Ecclesiasticus 14 and verse 8. That would have been dope as this one. Yeah. You should have came. You got to be quick with them daggers.
Transition quick.
I know. I'm sorry. And I want to get this point out. What? Oh, I definitely got that there. Read that. Ecclesiasticus. Ecclesiasticus 4. What did I say? 14 and verse 8.
Ecclesiasticus 14 verse 8.
Right?
The envious man hath a wicked eye.
And this is what Saul had. He had a wicked eye towards David. All right. Go ahead.
He turneth away his face and despiseth men.
He despised his own son. He despised his own son. You got to see what that envy does. Go to Proverbs 6:34. Proverbs 6 and verse 34.
Book of Proverbs, chapter 6 and verse 34.
Right?
For jealousy is the rage of a man.
It says what?
Jealousy is the rage of a man.
Now we know that in the context of this chapter, it's talking about a man that his woman committed adultery on him. But nevertheless, it says jealousy is the rage of a man. When you read about Saul and David being on the run from this man, and all the things that Saul set up, just the fact that he was playing the harp, and the next thing you know, a javelin flies by his face, out of nowhere, like you had to have some demons in you.
Bipolar.
Yeah. Oh, he was.
He was just good a minute ago.
He was. But he wasn't really that he was bipolar. What it was is that these things were already in Saul, and they were never rooted out.
Oh yeah.
They were, all these demons that were in Saul were never eradicated for him to just be a pure man. Because that wasn't the purpose. The purpose was to show Israel, this is who you are. This is who you want. This is what represents you. Go ahead, read on.
Come. Therefore, he will not spare in the day of vengeance.
Yeah, Saul wasn't going to spare in the day of vengeance, in the day of non-vengeance. He was ready to get David at any time, any way.
I was going to say, the Hebrew word for jealousy is qana'ah, or qana, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it means zealous, it means jealousy, envious, or zealous. So when it puts zealous in there, like when you think about being zealous, right? You're going to do something with all your might, all your heart. It's the spirit that comes with it. It's like Phinehas. Phinehas was zealous for the Most High's law, so where he killed the 2 people in the tent with the javelin.
Right?
That's because he was Phinehas. So he was so zealous, it drove him to do that. So the same zealous, the opposite of zealous is jealous. So you so jealous, it'll drive you to kill. You know, Saul was so jealous, it drove him to try to kill David. He's sitting there playing the harp, and you throw this javelin in front of his face, like, bro, everybody in the room saw you do that.
That happened more than once.
Yeah, more than once. Like, everybody saw you do this. Everybody knows.
Yeah.
Everybody knows you trying to kill him over nothing.
His own son called him out. Jonathan, like, yo, you trying to kill this man unjustly because of what was in David.
Yeah.
Go to Proverbs 24 and verse 4.
Go to Proverbs chapter 24 and verse 4.
Go ahead.
And by knowledge shall the chambers.
Salakia, 27 and verse 4. Proverbs 27 and verse 4.
Proverbs chapter 27 and verse 4. Wrath is cruel.
Right?
And anger is outrageous.
You see this? Wrath is cruel, but anger, man, a man's anger can just go outrageous. You ever see those crimes of passion? Cat walk in, woman is getting knocked down by some other guy, and he just goes in a blood-fueled rage.
Con.
That's what it's talking about here. Go ahead.
Con. But who is able to stand before envy?
Yeah, man. Who's going to stand before an envious man and live? It's hard. The Most High had to be with David. He had to be with David to be able to withstand Saul. This man tried to use his own daughter as a snare onto David. Think about it. Let me send him into war. You got to see, though, the same tricks that Saul tried to do to David, David did to another man. Come. Let me send him to war to get these foreskins of these Philistines, and he's going to die. And then David was so powerful, and so in the spirit, he came back with more than what was asked. But then didn't David do the same thing to Uriah the Hittites? Come. Oh, go to war real quick and leave him. It said leave him in the hottest part of the battle. Killed that man, took his wife. So you got to see how these negative traits trickle down. God. Right? So go to Wisdom of Solomon 1 and verse 5. Because this is the point, man. This is the point where, you know, hold where you at. Hold Wisdom of Solomon real quick. Let's go back. Because, you know, when you read about these men, and, you know, when Samuel was anointed, it said that the Spirit of the Most High was on him. It said the Spirit of the Most High was on him, but then we got to really judge critically. It's in Samuel, 1 Samuel. Yeah. But there was watch this. There's a nasty one. Hold on. I got to find this.
It's 10.
Is it 10? You still want scripture? No, that's not it. Oh, is it the Spirit?
Yeah, the Spirit of the Lord.
It is 1 Samuel 10 and 6. But that's a very, very good one. And changed. Read that, 1 Samuel 10.
1 Samuel chapter 10 verse 6. And the Spirit of the Most High will come upon thee.
Right.
And thou shalt prophesy with them.
Read.
And shall be turned into another man.
It shall be what?
Turned into another man.
Why did Saul have to be turned into another man? Why did he have to be turned into another man? Well, because first of all, he couldn't prophesy without the Spirit. But there was all these things in him that they couldn't be in him for him to be a proper king. There was all these negative virtues. Just like when the Spirit is on us. And if you stay, see, the key is not letting the Spirit get on you and letting the Spirit hop off. It's always staying in the Spirit. It's always staying in the Spirit. Always. But see, Saul let the Spirit hop on, and then he hopped out. And he hopped out the Spirit. He was double dutching in the Spirit. Boom. You hop for a little bit. Oh no, I'm gonna do my own thing. Hop out. Do my own thing. Follow my own mind. Right?
Good.
Read that one more time.
Come. 1 Samuel chapter 10 verse 6.
Right?
And the Spirit of the Most High will come upon thee.
Read.
And thou shalt prophesy with them.
Right?
And shall be turned into another man.
The Spirit was supposed to turn you into another man, but only if you kept in the Spirit. Now check this out. Wisdom of Solomon 1:5.
Wisdom of Solomon 1, verse 5.
Right?
For the Holy Spirit of discipline will flee deceit.
It will do what?
Flee deceit.
See, Saul had this deceitfulness in him and all these other bad characteristics. It said the Holy Spirit will flee you. The Spirit came on him and then left. The Spirit ran away like, oh, hell no. Oh, no. We can't dwell in this guy. It ain't going to happen. That's going to be confusion. It said it will flee deceit. Go ahead.
And remove from thoughts that are without understanding.
And since Saul's thought process was skewed and unbalanced and defiled, the Spirit removed from him, man. Go ahead.
And will not abide when unrighteousness
This is a cold one. Go ahead.
cometh in.
And when you let that, and when you give into that unrighteous thought, that unrighteous way of doing things, the Spirit will not abide. That's literally, so the reason why I went here first was to show you, because when we read this next scripture, it's like, well, the Spirit was on him and the Most High just took him. No, he didn't. Saul forfeited the Spirit through his own actions. Watch, go to 1 Samuel 16 and verse 14.
1 Samuel.
So through one's own actions, you forfeit the Spirit, man. The Spirit could be on all of us. Guess what? All the time. All the time. It ain't got to be like, oh, I'm only in the Spirit in class. I'm only in the Spirit in front of my husband. I'm only in the Spirit in front of brothers. You can roll in the Spirit 24/7, 365 for the rest of your life.
God.
But you got to fight and battle to not let the unrighteousness come in. You got to not let those forward thoughts take over, because they're going to come. Doubt's going to hit you. Hate is going to hit you. Revenge. Double mind. It's all going to hit you, but it depends on how long you let it hit for. Because you can get a thought of doubt and then, you just dispel that. Boom. No. Doubt. The Most High is with me, and move on.
Sir.
Or you can doubt for a week. You can doubt, and then guess what? You're not in the Spirit.
You said through a man's actions, the Spirit will. I caught it.
Yeah, through a man's actions, because it says it. It says, and will not abide when unrighteousness come in. So a man's actions will allow him to forfeit the Spirit. A man's actions, your own doing, you'll forfeit the Spirit. Because then, this is the thing too, think about it. When David sinned, slept with Uriah the Hittite's wife, he fell out the Spirit. But then he locked right back in instantly when he was challenged by Nathan. When Nathan said, listen, this is what you did, he didn't buck up and rebuttal. He was like, yeah, you got me. I'm wrong. As opposed to Saul, where Saul, he tried to hide it and deny it. He denied it 2-3 times, and then he was like, you know what, you're right, you got me. It's like, nigga, what kind of spirit you got on you where you caught dead to rights and still denying? But it just shows you the manner of man that Saul was, where he let the unrighteous abide in him. And it took longer for him to get back into that spirit of truth, the spirit of honesty. But that's why it says the Holy Spirit of discipline will flee deceit. Saul was deceitful. He was a deceitful man. We can't be deceitful. Liars. Right? It says liars will not remember her. Talking about wisdom. It says liars can't remember wisdom. Right, and that was the problem with Saul, man. He lied. So he couldn't remember the commandment. He couldn't remember what was right and what was wrong. He was too busy trying to match up his lies. Too busy trying to execute judgment on David. So go to 1 Samuel.
1 Samuel, chapter 16, verse 14.
Read.
But the Spirit of the Most High departed from Saul.
Go ahead. Why? Because of his own unrighteousness. This is very key. This is very key. The Most High didn't just say, man, I'm taking my spirit. He gave it. He said he'll give it to all men liberally. If any man lack wisdom, let him ask. He'll give it to you liberally.
God.
But as soon as you don't want to apply wisdom, man, that old Negro man and that old Negro woman starts to pop up, and they kick wisdom out the door. Boop, this is my house. Boop, makes that noise when they kick. Boop, read on.
And an evil spirit from the Most High troubled him.
Now, not only did Saul have spirits on him, the Most High sent another one to trouble him. You got to see that. He threw demons upon demons. Now, it tells you in Matthew, man. It tells you in Matthew when a man's house is swept and garnished and that spirit goes out of him and he got nowhere to rest, he comes back and he brings 7 more demons wickeder than the first. So he got hit with this murderous spirit. That was the demon that was on him to kill, to literally commit murder. He had the envy. He had hatred. He had all the lead up. He had all the gateway demons, right? He had all the gateway demons to murder him. So the Most High sent this spirit, but really, let's be honest. Did the Most High have to send the spirit to him, or was it already on him? Because the Most High is not going to tempt us with evil. So if we put it all together and not look at how it's worded, but let's put all the precepts. The Most High don't tempt with evil. And we're going to go there. I got it here. So the Most High didn't send an evil spirit, a murderous spirit to Saul who was already on him. Read on.
Verse 15. And Saul's servant said unto him, Behold now, an evil spirit from the Most High troubling thee.
Because what happened was he got all his physicians, he got all his soothsayers, and it like, man, what's wrong with me? They were like, bruh, Most High is whooping on you. From there, go to James 1:13. Very key, man, that the Most High don't tempt with evil. He's not going to put no murderous spirit on you, no envious spirit on you. That was already what you wanted. That's already what you had. That's what was in you that wasn't eradicated. Go ahead.
James chapter 1, verse 13. Let no man say when he is tempted,
right? I
am tempted of the Most High.
Right. You can't say that like, man, the Most High did this. Nah, man, when unrighteousness cometh in, the spirit will flee from you. Go ahead.
For the Most High cannot be tempted with evil.
You see that? He can't be tempted with evil. Read.
Neither tempteth he any man.
You see that? Read on.
But every man is tempted,
right,
when he is drawn away of his own lust.
Yeah, these were the things that Saul was lusting after. These were the things that were in Saul that he wanted to do. Go ahead.
And enticed.
Right.
Then when lust hath conceived,
right,
it bringeth forth sin.
Read.
And sin, when it is finished, bringeth forth death.
And if you look at the way Saul died, on the run from what nation? What nation killed Saul?
Philistines? No.
It was the Amalekites.
Amalekites.
The same nation he was supposed to wipe out. Killed him and his son. And then, you know, David said it so poetically. One of my favorite scriptures, oh, how the mighty have fallen. How the mighty have fallen. And he gave this whole dissertation at Saul's funeral. And Jonathan.
Yeah, I thought Saul had fell on his own sword.
Well, he was on the run. Yeah, he was on the run from these nations. But, see, they give different accounts. They give different accounts. But, yeah, he fell on his own sword, but he was already wounded. He was already going to die.
Yeah, he was going to die.
He was going to die regardless. He just didn't want to die at the hands of an Amalekite in that way.
Yeah.
But what did they do? They killed him, took his armor, beheaded him. Yeah, bro, he got a disgusting death. He got a disgusting death, man. Yeah, bro, listen, they was on Saul so hard, they was lying about who killed Saul. Remember when they came to David like, yeah, I killed Saul? And he was like, who are you that touched the Most High anointed and killed him? Happened twice. Happened twice. So, you know, when you read the story, because I had to really dive into that, like, wait a minute, how did he die? But one man was actually he was lying. He wanted to take the credit. But David put him down. He's like, bruh, you ain't gonna sit here and try to take that credit. You died too. But the way, yeah, it was. It was a Amalekite. It was. Read on. Where we at?
We're at James 1, 16.
Read on.
Do not err, my beloved brethren.
Go to Ecclesiastes 15 and verse 11. Ecclesiastes 15 verse 11.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 16 verse 11.
Go ahead.
And if there be one stiff neck among the people.
15 and 11.
Slakia.
15 and 11.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 15, verse 11. Say not thou, it is through the Most High that I fell away.
Yeah. You can't, the evil spirit was sent. No, the evil spirit was on you. Like, man, the Most High made me do this. No, he didn't.
Right.
Say not thou that it was because of the Lord that you fell away. This is what you wanted. Go ahead.
For thou oughtest not to do the things that he had.
That he
hated.
Right. Just don't do what the Most High hates. He hates a murderer. He hates a liar. He hates a killer. He hates a covetous man. He don't like these things. He didn't create us to be this way. These are the things that we invented. Go ahead.
Say not thou, he had caused me to err.
Wait, say that one more time.
Say not thou, he had caused me to err.
Yeah, man, he said it. Do not err, my beloved brethren. The error is on us. He said, seek not death in the error of your life. A lot of us, man, it's like you the grim reaper hunter.
The scripture says you call it to yourself.
Yeah, you call it to you. But a lot of us do with the moves that we make. It's like you literally call death to come sit next to you.
Yeah.
But then got the nerve to be like, well, why did God create death then? Like, what the hell are you talking about? He didn't create death. We did.
Yep.
Why did he create hell? To whoop you? Punishment? Torment? But it's not about what was created. It's about what you do. Don't judge the reaction, judge the action. What are you doing?
Now, I was just gonna say, because we coddle those negative spirits.
Oh, yeah.
When you coddle them,
You be rocking.
you make them all nice and
Goodbye, baby, on the
They're not
treetop.
gonna go anywhere. You're not doing what you need to do to exercise them walk. So they just get comfortable and stay there, and you just gotta deal with
Yeah.
that.
You make a house for them. This house is not a home unless my demons are here. It's like, what?
That's real, man.
But listen, some people think that they have to be negative. Some people think that they were born negative, that they were born in error, that they were born wicked. No. No. You call that to you. You created that. You followed that. You were taught that. So we can't blame the Most High and say, well, he caused this. Go ahead, read on.
For he had no need of the sinful man.
Like how he had no need for Saul. After the fact, he was like, listen, I found me a better neighbor, a better man that's going to be upright and do what I want. I don't got no need for you. You out of here. Go ahead.
The Most High hated all abomination.
Woo. Go ahead.
And they that fear the Most High love it not.
And that's where Saul should have set his mind. That's where David set his mind. That's how we got to set our minds, man. We got to hate the abomination. We got to hate the abominable things. You got to be scared of death. Like, I don't think I'm scared to die. I don't know. I don't think about it. But I'm scared to die wicked.
Oh, yeah.
Because of wicked.
I'm scared to die because of wickedness. Because when you see it,
Yeah.
and you see the way people be dying, like getting mauled to death by a bear,
Oh, yeah.
getting bit by a lion, or bleeding out by themselves, or getting hit by a train, falling off a building, falling off a scaffold, and then you still breathe. You make it to the hospital for them to pump your chest, break all your ribs, do a life support. They hook you up to a machine that breathes for you. You poop on yourself, pee on yourself, sit there in the bed, rot in a coma, and then die? Bruh.
Yeah.
Like, bruh.
Oh, yeah.
Come on, man. Are you wheelchair bound? Can't move? Quadriplegic? Like, I'm scared of all these things. I want to be able to walk. I want to be able to talk, move around. Like, but if I gotta go, I want to go peacefully. Right? But you look. I mean, man, that's why you gotta hate the abomination. Go ahead, read on.
Verse 14. He himself made man from the beginning.
Right?
And left him in the hand of his counsel.
Go ahead.
If thou wilt to keep the commandments and to perform acceptable faithfulness.
Did I already get this?
No.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
He hath set fire and water before thee.
Read.
Stretch forth thy hand unto whether thou wilt.
Go ahead. You're gonna read that in verse 20. Okay.
Before man is life and death.
Right, and this is the key, man. Before us is choose ye this day, life or death. I hope you choose life. Ain't that what Moses said to the people? He said he gave us the choice. Choose ye this day, life or death, but y'all should choose life. Right? That was Moses. It might have been Joshua also. Right? I remember Moses, he distinctly said, listen, choose life. Choose life that you and your sons may live. And this is the thing that's always set before us is, do I continue to let the demons rule, the negative rule, or do I let the Spirit change me to another man? Do I do the things that are pleasing to the Most High? Because he don't got no need for you otherwise. It says the wicked is the ransom for the righteous. So all you gonna be is a body getting put to death as an example.
Yeah, that bullet gonna go with you.
Right, I'll be like, oh yeah, that's why you don't do drugs. That's why you don't smoke weed. That's why you don't be where you don't need to be. You're gonna be the example of what not to do. Saul was the example of what not to do for the people, because the Most High even said it to the people. He said, if your king does wickedly and you follow him, it's on y'all. I'm gonna punish you and your king. I'm gonna punish you and the king. Go ahead, read on.
And whether him like it shall be given him.
And that's the thing, man. Whatever you like is what you gonna get. You like to be covetous, you're gonna have covetous people around you. You like to be prideful, you're gonna be around the prideful niggas. You like to be selfish, you like to be hateful, you're gonna be around the hateful eight. Whatever you like is what's gonna be given to you. Now you gotta ask yourself, do you like death? Do you like pride? Do you like hatred? Do you like envy, jealousy? Because a lot of us like to be like it, but we don't like when it's done to us. Man, why you hating on me? But nigga, because you a hater. Why you always jealous of me? Because you jealous. We don't like it to be done to us, but you'll do it. But he said he'll give you whatever you like. You like righteousness? Here's righteous brothers around you. Here's a righteous rib. Here's righteous children. Here's peace. Here's love. Here's joy. If you like those things, you'll get it. He said, the scripture said, acquaint yourself with the Lord to know peace and joy. Go ahead.
Verse 17. Before man is life and death.
Right?
Salakia. Verse 18. For the wisdom of the Most High is great.
Right?
And he is mighty in power.
Read.
And beholdeth all things.
Go ahead.
And his eyes are upon them that fear him.
Yeah, man. And that's who he's looking at. The Most High, he said he give grace unto the humble. He rejected the proud. He's looking at the ones that fear him. Not the nigga that's being stiff-necked, rebellious, running around doing his own thing. He's like, man, I ain't looking out for you. Why is his eyes on the ones that fear him? Because he's watching out for us. He's watching out for us.
Ooh, man, I like that. 'Cause that's why the scripture says reverence the priest.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because Saul didn't reverence Samuel.
Oh.
The Most High was looking out for him through Samuel.
Yep.
That's why the scripture says
like
reverence. Did you get that? It's Ecclesiastes. You can find it. But it still says reverence the priest.
Yeah. Why? Because he was trying to look out. I like that. He was trying to look out. He was trying to look out via the priest. But Saul wasn't caring about none of that. Saul wasn't caring about, let me do right and let the Most High see me. He did wrong and the Most High seen him for the wrong he did. Guess what? I got a better neighbor. I got a better man. I got a neighbor of yours. This nigga's over here hurting sheep. Being faithful in hurting sheep. Humble.
Ready to listen.
Mighty in war, right? He can fight all the wars.
Yeah.
He's good looking.
Mighty in valor. Yeah.
And he got morals and standard. That's what I'm looking at. I already found him, y'all. That's how the Most High was like, Samuel, I got him, baby.
Right.
He was like, Samuel was like, well, if I go find him, Saul's gonna kill me.
Right.
He's like, nah, I got you. Just say you about to go make an offer.
He blew the whistle.
Yeah. Substitution.
Permanently.
Because the Most High said, I'm looking at Saul. Well, he was like, man, what's David doing? Man, this guy is righteous. Look how he takes care of that flock. Look at how he's responsible. Look at how he deals with his parents. Look about, and not just looking at the outward, he said he searched the heart. Try the reins. So you think he was looking at like your little throwing on a beard? Brothers throw on their beard now.
Oh, damn.
I'm gonna throw my beard on, y'all.
What they call it?
The lace front beard.
Lace fronts.
You throw on your beard with your fringes and be like, yeah, the Most High sees me. He looking deep into your spirit, into your mind, into the reins of your mind, and saying, what manner of man is he? Is he a good leader? You know, man, the conversations that I have, I be wanting to share them with y'all, but yeah. Go ahead, read on.
Verse 19. And his eyes are upon them that fear him.
Right?
And he knoweth every work of man.
Right? Go ahead.
He had commanded no man to do wickedly.
And the reason why I let it read all the way down, no matter what, we got to understand that even though Saul did a lot of wicked things, that wasn't the commandment of the Most High. The Spirit was given up to him to be different, to be another man, to not follow through with the malicious intent that was in his heart. The Spirit was given him, the law, the wisdom, the knowledge, the prophets. The men were put around him for him to do not his own will. Right? Lean on to that own understanding. The Spirit was given to him, just like all of us.
Yeah. He gives you a chance to apply it.
Oh yeah.
To change yourself.
Mm-hmm.
That's what this is about, this building right here, these scriptures. He's giving you that chance to get your mind, body, and soul right, man.
Just like Jesus and Judas.
Yeah.
Judas got 3 years to make a man. We gonna make man in the mirror.
Choose
right?
ye this day who you will serve.
Yeah. Judas had a chance to look at himself and say, nah, because the Most High didn't give him the license to sin or to do wickedly. He don't need that. But Judas chose that path. And Saul chose his path. Go ahead.
Neither has he given any man license to sin.
Right. What verse was that? 20?
Come.
That was the last one, right? Right. So, damn, right on time. Any questions on class? 8:59. Any questions on that?
A little commentary. You the two scriptures when Zion was bringing out sitting amongst the elders.
Right.
Ecclesiastes 6.
Ecclesiastes 6.
Con and Ecclesiastes 8 and 6.
Go ahead.
Ecclesiastes 8 says, "Despise not the discourse of the wise,
right,
but acquaint thyself with their proverbs. For of them thou shalt learn instruction, and how to serve great men with ease. Miss not the discourse of the elders, for they also learn of their fathers. And of them thou shalt learn understanding, and to give answer as need requireth." And then jump into that Ecclesiastes 6:34.
Right, and that's what Saul didn't do to a point. He didn't listen to Samuel. Stay here 7 days, do what I say. He didn't listen, so he didn't know how to serve great men. He didn't know how to serve the Most High in Christ. That's why he removed him.
Yep.
When you read in thing there, he said when you read in Matthew, he said when he removed Saul, Saul was removed.
Yep.
He said when he removed Saul and appointed David. That happened while Saul was still living. Saul was removed from the kingdom. What else? What else you got?
Oh, just that Ecclesiastes 6:34.
Right.
"Stand in the multitude of the elders and cleave unto him that is wise."
And how do you know the man that's wise? Well, because he says so? No. I'm wise, y'all. Or because his beard is super long? No. Or because it's gray? Oh, it says gray hair is the crown of wisdom. No. What it is, or is it because he ain't going through something? No, he's definitely going through something. It's how he handles what he goes through. It's how he handles the loss. It's how he handles the gain. It's how he handles prosperity. He's not forgetful in prosperity because he knows that at any time the Most High can Job him. You get Job. That's my new one. You're going to get Job. Not everybody's getting Job though. A lot of people's getting what's old boy from damn, I forget his name.
Oh, you talking about the fool?
Yeah. Can't remember his name. Not everybody's getting Job because you're not suffering for righteousness. You're suffering for being a fool, being churlish. So yeah. How do you know a man that's wise? Well, we all go through battles, but is he faulty in his battle? Is he double-minded? He's going, catching hell, he's unsure? Or when he's being blessed, is he too exuberant and excited and don't know how to handle the blessing?
The ball.
The ball.
No, I don't know why.
Right. The ball.
Yeah, foolish.
Some brothers getting the ball and not Job.
Yeah.
But the point is, just because a man says he's wise don't make him wise. It's how he handles the trials, the tribulations, how he handles the bread of adversity and the water of affliction, but also how he handles prosperity. You'll know. Think about it. A man that wins the lotto and blows it, you win 45 million and you broke next year. Him ain't wise. He ain't got no wisdom. So I like that. Stand in the multitude of the elders. What you got?
Give me Proverbs. Give me 10 and 17. Just on the point.
I would hope.
Proverbs 10 and 17.
Proverbs 10:17.
Uh-huh.
He is in the way of life.
Read that again.
He is in the way of life that keepeth instruction.
Read that again.
He is in the way of life that keepeth instruction.
That's one thing Saul didn't do. He didn't keep that instruction that was given to him. The Most High is always here. Again, it goes back to that Proverbs. Where the Most High said he'll lavish your calamity. Why? Because you didn't want to apply his help. You didn't want that. You wanted to do your own program. When he says, he is in the way of life that keepeth instruction. Read.
But he that refuseth.
He that what?
Refuseth.
Nah, I'm going to do it my way.
Refuseth.
You know what? I was looking in the dietary law of consciousness, and I'm going to apply this.
Dietary law of consciousness.
Whatever. Read.
But he that refuseth.
The law of Dianetics.
Right.
Reproof. Error.
Yeah, you err. Why? Because you're not applying the Most High's wisdom. You know what I'm saying? You're not standing in that multitude of elders, or if you do stand in the multitude of elders, you're not listening. You're not hearkening. You're not opening your ears. You're closing them. So the Most High said you err. But we have to see that the Most High has always been with us. He's here for us. And the scripture says, listen, his thoughts for us are thoughts of peace and a good end.
I know the thoughts that I have towards you.
Yeah.
Thoughts of peace and
Not of evil.
But you have an expected end.
Yeah, even with that, it's just seeing that, there's no reason to fight against. Say again?
That's my favorite scripture.
Yeah, there's no need to fight against wisdom, fight against the knowledge that the Most High is giving you, because he will make you an example.
Any questions? Anything online? The feed is very bad for the last 30 minutes. Wow, really?
Check.
Really? Damn. It's bad. Nothing? Alright. It's all good. It's all good. We thank everybody for joining us. Once again, everybody in class, we appreciate it. We're glad y'all showing up. Glad y'all showing up online. Again, if y'all got questions, he gonna be back in Virginia for questions on Friday. He gonna be a bounce back. He gonna be the bounce back man. Oh yeah. Oh, you find out? Yeah, he's going back to Virginia tomorrow. So you'll see him on camera. Don't worry, it's not two of him. I wish it was two Zions. Give me one, give the Zion one, right? But it's all good. Hey, I'm with that. But it's all good. We'll be back. They'll be back online tomorrow, Thursday, and then Friday. Questions. We'll be back here Friday, Saturday. You know how we do it. So, if that's it, let's salute them online. Let's say shalom.
Shalom.
Shalom. We'll see y'all back here on Saturday. Okay. Everyone else, I mind him will punt y'all with dumb. Rise and peace.
The Most High is my rock. In the name of Messiah. The Most High is my rock. The Most High is my rock. The Most High is my rock. Yeah. The Most High is my rock. I keep my Bible on top. The Most High is my rock. No time for cupcake and the cutling. Hit the streets and start cutting. The Israelites are bubbling. The Israelites are coming. I don't celebrate Thanksgiving. You can keep the stuffing. It's pagan, disdain, it's vain, it's nothing. The European Union about to hit the button. And I feel sorry for you if you think the Lord is bluffing. That's why I hit the booth and I tell the truth. Are you fishing with the truth? Homie, where's your fruit? If the Most High is your rock, don't treat him like a side piece. Come in this truth plan and treat you like a side piece. He's the God of mercy and wrath. So do you want to fly or do you keep the Bible on cop? The Most High is my rock.
TK.
Rock. The Most High is my rock. The Most High is my rock.